talking about Episode 6, Book of Boba Fett. From the Desert Comes a Stranger.
And the best episode of any Star Wars series so far as I'm concerned, I think. That was by far a very Star Wars episode. You had everything in it.
Yeah, and you're right. Star Wars feel, look,
Characters.
yeah. Multiple
Yes.
cameos, I guess, for lack of a better word of saying, but appearances of different characters.
Yeah.
If we start out going through it, start of the episode.
Yeah, I get the marshal with the pikes. He's basically telling him not to come through his territory, and this still ends up being a gunfight at the old OK Corral.
Yeah.
But he leaves one alive to go and tell him that this is his area. Just avoid it, and we're all fine.
Yeah. We last saw Cobb Vanth in The Mandalorian, and Mando and him were square, of course, and that was kind of gave Boba Fett's armor up. That was kind of the last deal we had with Cobb Vanth. And you're right. Run in with the Pike Syndicate, and they're running the spice, and he didn't like it, and took care of business.
Yeah, and we knew that trouble was going to come with that, which we find out later. And then I guess we get Mando going off to find Grogu and Luke. And what does he come across?
Well, I mean, on the initial landing, we get greeted by R2, which is always awesome to see R2. I don't know, just kind of like
just
back to as a kid, right?
Well, it just set the tone for the episode right there. You get R2D2 and some of the classic tones and little bleeps that he was as he was leading him along. It's like, okay, this is R2.
There's a little sarcasm in the way he is. It's kind of, I love it. He's one of my favorite kind of characters in the Star Wars universe, and
leads them off to where we find a whole bunch of, I guess we'll call them robots or drones or building the future Jedi Academy.
Yeah, and we don't really know what planet they're on. It was an unnamed planet, but
it was always a secret, hidden planet, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've ever really divulged the name of the planet or the location.
I don't recall, but I mean, if we're looking at into the future of the Academy that Luke has created, and Ben Solo's destroying it, you got the stone type architecture, and so there's Luke and Grogu on that planet, obviously, so we see them training, right? Going on to it. And it's interesting because you're seeing kind of the Luke that we
never got to see.
Yeah, but the Luke we figured we would see, right?
Yeah, and the Luke we wanted to see.
Yeah, a Jedi Master, right? And it's I think that's the cool part about it for me is seeing that. Yeah, I mean, we grew up with Luke Skywalker as this whiny farm boy kid who, saves the rebels and kind of the galaxy from the Empire, and now we are training the next generation. I think is super cool.
Yeah, we get to see all these little. He was, for lack of a better term, he was almost, I guess, like how you said, he's the whiny young kid. And I was going to make a joke about him being not quite as bad as Daniel LaRusso, but he's really become the Mr. Miyagi, right? He's actually many times he's quoted Master Yoda.
That's right.
And realistically, that's kind of who he's kind of emulating, it looks like. And it doesn't hurt that he's actually training one of Yoda's species.
Yeah.
But it was kind of neat to see that, that's how they portrayed it, and that's what he knew. So he kind of emulated that kind of training style, and once again, very Star Wars like.
Yeah, and it just going in always jungle settings, right? When you seem to be you're kind of training somebody, and it's, I don't know, I just kind of music to my eyes, I guess, or whatever. It's just seeing that.
It was just fan service, at the same time, but it wasn't. They were still doing the story. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just thrown in for the sake of being thrown in. It worked. It didn't feel forced. Mm-hmm. It's what Star Wars fans have been wanting. And you want to get ratings, you want to get people clamoring for more. This is what you give them.
And so, meanwhile, we're getting the training aspect of things. Mandalorian's waiting.
And, on his
on the bench.
Yeah,
And who walks in?
Ahsoka, another another cameo. And
I mean, I did not expect to see her. I
no,
wasn't even
that
thinking
was
about that.
that was kind of a curveball.
Yeah. And when I'm just looking at her, Rosario Dawson just looks absolutely
She
fantastic.
is Ahsoka.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
so good. And yeah, that was a nice little action. Just she's very. If you love the Clone Wars and you love the character in there, she's kind of like just really taking on that personality that in an older version.
yeah.
of
She's
Jedi.
doing a much more mature and grown up
Yeah.
version, wiser,
Yeah.
and I like the character so far. Like we're gonna obviously get to see her in her own series, but so far what I've seen of her so far, I've liked in both the Mandalorian episode and this one as well.
Yeah, like I'm excited for that series. I'm excited to see her
I'm
have her own and potentially where you could go with that.
I'm actually kind of excited for all of it now because
yeah.
they're throwing stuff at us that we
Oh,
want.
yeah.
Not everything, because like up until the last 2 episodes of this series, I haven't really liked the Boba Fett the series. I still don't like what they've done with him, but there's time to kind of correct the course, and I don't know exactly what they're building towards yet.
Yeah.
But these last 2 episodes have been fantastic.
Yeah, no, I mean, and they absolutely have. I mean, just kind of basically progressing the story as far as I'm concerned, and going in a direction, right? So we get Ahsoka kind of giving Mando the choice, saying like it's probably not a good idea. You shouldn't see Grogu because
Yeah,
he has an attachment.
she's really explaining kind of how the Jedi thing works,
Yeah.
basically, and how it will really make it difficult for him.
Yeah.
Because he's a kid. Even though he's 50 years old, he's still a kid, and he acts like a kid, and he has this. He reacts emotionally like a kid. If he sees that basically his parent or, emulate,
The foundling, right?
yeah,
So, yeah.
he's gonna miss him and want to be with him.
Yeah.
So it would just make it tougher on the kid. So she kind of lays out what
The story, yeah.
what if he goes and actually sees the kid himself, what that can do to the kid, and she even questions like, are you doing this for the kid, or are you doing this for yourself?
Yeah. And it was interesting. He's like, Din was like, he's a foundling, and she said, well, maybe he's a Padawan now, right? So that was interesting to the kind of in a sense 2 different religions, right?
Yep.
That have their own basis for what your requirements are to be in those, in that kind of faction, which is cool.
And we find out later, because this is playing into the series and into that whole role with Grogu. We do find out later that there's more to this.
Yeah.
Like, and it obviously there was gonna be, but it does play out into what we see later on in the show.
Yeah.
But then after that, we get Luke and Ahsoka talking as well, and obviously there's a very limited cameo for her in this. She's not going to be in. Basically, it was more of a reminder. Hey, this is coming, and
this is kind of give you a pumped up here heads up. Right?
Yeah.
What I liked about that, and you and I have talked about this previous, that I just want Luke and her to have conversations about the past.
Well, it was great that we even got a line there, like so much like your father. Like,
and I was like, man, that's awesome. And I'm like, who would have thought you could get to?
Whoever thought we would see that ever?
Yeah,
ever, because we didn't really think we're gonna get to see Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, and just to see, a great Clone Wars character, who is Anakin's Padawan, and then her being an adult, and then meeting Anakin's son, and I think it's such a super cool just moment or scenario.
It would have been nice to see more of that.
Yeah,
their meeting when they actually met and talked and discussed.
Exactly.
And we might get that. We might get flashbacks. We might get more of that. Who knows what we're going to see in the Ahsoka series yet, right? So that would be pretty cool. I agree with you. That's the kind of stuff I'd like to see.
Yeah.
To be a fly on the wall to watch those conversations.
Well, yeah, and just flesh it out, and maybe with Luke, maybe we get some. Maybe he's talking to Anakin, and it's very possible he saw it.
Absolutely.
So
who knows how this is all going to work out? Like,
man.
because we could be seeing multiple characters yet in ghost form, right?
Can you imagine having Luke's iteration talking with Hayden Christensen's
it'd be pretty cool.
Anakin?
Yep, and that's stuff we can all possibly get. You never know.
That'd be gold.
Yeah, it'd be pretty good.
Yeah. And so anyways, we're kind of progressing, and Mando leaves the armor, of course, and takes off to go back to Boba Fett,
yeah.
right? And we're in there, and so we kind of get into the round table, I guess, or just planning.
Yeah, they're planning on how they're going to defend, and because they know a war is coming, and they're kind of or Boba's kind of building up his faction, but they all know that they're kind of short-manned, and then I guess Mando goes. He has an idea of who he can maybe bring in to help, and he goes off to see
Cobb Vanth. Yeah, and that was good. I mean, kind of getting in and saying, "Hey, we need your help," and I think Cobb is a little reluctant at first, but I think eventually kind of sees, yeah, you know what? I think we got to get the people together and tell them it's going to come
because something is going to happen regardless. Because like one way or another, even if it doesn't matter who. Well, it does kind of matter who wins because if you get the Pike winning, they're going to control everything, and whether you like it or not, that's just the way it's going to be.
Well, and I think the storyline of this scenario here is that you can't just sit on the sidelines, and you eventually get dragged into it, and I think that's the Star Wars is always about that. I don't want any part of this. I don't want any part of this. And we heard like Han Solo back. I didn't want any part of this, but he gets involved, and you can't just sit idly and do nothing. You're dragged into it.
It's better if you pick your side rather than getting dragged in and not really having a stake in it.
Well, yeah, and so as we see Mando take off, obviously go back to probably Boba Fett, and who walks out of the desert.
That was, and the way they had him walk in, and it was the old Western, and somebody I truly didn't think we would ever see in live action.
No.
And the way he looked, the way he was portrayed, Cad Bane is badass.
Yeah, and we have kind of said that Dave Filoni must just love Cad Bane.
Yeah, he's
all over.
He sticks him in wherever he can, and there actually did in the past. It's never been aired, I believe, and it was kind of considered canon that Cad Bane had been killed, but obviously that unaired episode is not going to exist now.
That's right.
That's not happening.
And then that was when he was training Boba, wasn't he?
I believe so. Yes, because I believe Boba was supposed to have killed him, but and Boba's infamous dent on his helmet is from none other than Cad Bane.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So, but obviously they're going to wipe that out of existence because Cad Bane's very much alive, and which is cool because like I said, I never thought we'd see him. He obviously is someone you don't want to mess with, and he's obviously working for the Syndicate.
Well, and you said when he was walking out of the desert there, he was like, "Oh, this is one guy you don't want to fight in a shootout." I'm like, well, yeah, you're right, because you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
And which is interesting having Cad Bane in this. It goes back to the Bad Batch. Fennec had a run in with Cad, and he has some history with Boba. So it kind of really ups the ante a little bit as far as he's working for the Pikes. Now you got some people that don't like Cad, and Cad doesn't like them, and it's like, okay, this is getting good. Now we got a little bit of rivalries rolling in here, and I like it.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of they're technically major players in the Star Wars universe. They're just in more in the animated series coming to life. Like I never thought we'd see them. And you're getting all these different factions of people kind of joining up.
Yeah.
And are they gonna? I don't. Hopefully they don't wipe all these guys out. I'd like to see them carry on into other series for a bit.
Yeah.
Because some of these characters are awesome to see.
Well, I mean, Cad Bane is, like I said, I've always liked him in the animation, and so I'm like, this is cool. That was a very cool spot. He obviously took out his deputy, Cobb's deputy, and wounded. It looked like he wounded Cobb. I don't think Cobb's dead because it looked like they were patting him in there. So I'm assuming that this is going to kind of spark the Freetown people to say, all right, I guess we got to get involved and probably join up with Boba's crew. That's going to be my
Well,
guess.
I think this is definitely going to push him in that direction.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and there it is, right? Yeah. So and from there, well, we kind of a little backstory before that happened. In the cantina with
the Pike are kind of laying grounds to all their territory and wiping out people who they want to wipe out because they blow up the cantina.
Oh yeah.
I'm assuming everybody gets wiped out.
Yeah.
That's the impression I get.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's Jennifer Beals' character there.
Yes.
Yeah, and what is it, Garson Phipps or something like that? Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah, she has
Yeah.
a strange name. I can't.
Yeah. So the Pikes go in there and do a little damage with a let's bomb them and run kind of move.
Yeah.
Drop it off, the old sly move.
Yeah.
Um,
It's almost like an old gangster movie
It
or
is,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
so we don't know how bad the damage is there and whether her character is gone now or what happens there. But that's obviously sending a message, right? Sending a message to Boba's Mos Espa and saying, look, we're coming after you.
Yeah.
And-
They're gonna run their drugs or spice through there. They're not gonna be forced out by anybody.
No, that's right.
They're basically intimidating everybody and trying to lay claim. So we're gonna get a heck of a lot more of that.
Oh yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see where they go with that. I mean, as far as like, episode 7.
Yeah, episode 7. I don't know if they were gonna wrap everything up in this still, even though there was a 7th. We thought there was 6, but there was a 7th episode. I don't know if they're gonna still be able to wrap this all up in one episode.
It's gonna be the big battle, I guess. But so at the end of this episode, we get our last little bit and piece, kind of, with Grogu and Luke.
Yeah, it comes down to what we were talking about earlier, that this attachment thing, that the Jedi, obviously Luke is still teaching that,
Mm-hmm.
to the traditional way of teaching Jedi, that you can't have attachment. I won't be surprised if they actually take this a little bit further down the road, and that Luke changes that.
Yeah, that could be.
I could see him adapting and learning from the Jedi's mistakes.
Yeah.
But for now, he's giving Grogu a choice. He's giving him the chain link armor, the Beskar,
Yeah.
or he's giving Master Yoda's lightsaber.
Yeah.
And he's got to choose between the two.
Yeah, and
Are you going to be a
that's
Jedi,
interesting.
or are you going to be a foundling for the
Yeah.
Mandalorians? And
I
that's
yeah.
kind of what they left on the cliffhanger. I have my feelings as to where they're going with it, and
Well, I liked what Luke said. He had said basically, the attachment thing, and you have to pick one way because your lifetime is short for you.
like you're about a time period for you, like
Is long. You have a long period of time. Yeah.
he's basically saying that that our his lifetime, Luke's lifetime, a human's lifetime
Yeah.
is a short period of time to this kid, and
Yeah.
and for him to spend this much time, it's actually a great deal of time. The kid doesn't realize how much time it is, and
Well, yeah. Mando's gonna live for another 50 years, and
if that,
and Grogu's gonna live to be 800.
so he's got another 850 years left in him.
Oh yeah. So that's that's a big decision, and I'm curious, where do you think they're gonna go there? What's your thoughts?
I honestly, because we don't see Grogu in any future movies and nothing's ever been talked about with him, I think he's gonna end up going with the Mandalorian. I think he will go that route. But like I said, maybe this is something Luke learns from this, that having attachment for a Jedi is okay. I think that in the future will change.
Yeah.
There is one other point we kind of didn't hit on,
What?
and that was when Luke was training Grogu. He was trying to, I'm not sure if he was necessarily healing, but he was helping him remember where he came from.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a big thing.
That
He
was a
remembered
big thing.
he was at Order 66 on
Yeah.
Coruscant.
That's right.
And he, as what Jedi were just finished being wiped out in front of him,
Mhm.
and the clone troopers were coming in, the scene ended.
Yeah, and that was those clones were, of course, the blue marking, the 501st elite crew clones from that Anakin, kind of led. So we know he was right on Coruscant for sure, and that was it. So in we've talked about who saved Grogu. Who was it? Was it my feeling is I think it's the librarian, Jocasta Nu. I think that's her. The archive keeper. You mentioned maybe you think it might be somebody else.
Yeah,
but-
I actually have about 3 to 5 different people. I honestly don't think it's her whatsoever, because they wouldn't have left it on a cliffhanger like that if it was just her.
Yeah.
I think it's somebody bigger. There's possibilities, like who was on Coruscant at the time.
Because we know it wasn't Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan is
or
going.
Yoda.
Obi-Wan is going to face off against Vader.
Yeah.
Yoda was there, but he was fighting the Emperor. I don't know if he would have been there.
I don't think he was there.
Well, I'm not sure where it falls on the timeline. If he was there ahead of time, he might have been there, but I don't think it was Yoda either.
Because if you think of how that happened, when we saw that one kid come out. Remember when what's his name? I'm just trying to think of
Leia's
Leia's
stepfather,
father,
yeah,
Bail
yeah,
Organa.
Bail Organa,
So he rolled up, and there's that one kid comes jumping out, and all those Jedi's when Anakin rolled in with the clones. I mean, we had that was all quick, and then at that time, Obi-Wan and Yoda showed up
yeah.
after their respective battles. Right? So I think in that situation, I bet you at that point Grogu is saved, taken
Possibly.
away. So yeah, who do you think on that?
You know, I got a list of a few people. Like, there's a is there the possibility that Mace Windu's still alive? Did he save him? Possibly.
Yeah.
I have a few other theories as well that I didn't even discuss with you. Did Anakin Skywalker, before he left, save him? Did Anakin himself do it?
I don't know, like
Did-
he killed
did-
all those younglings though. I mean,
Well, and it just depends on where this falls in the
Yeah.
timeline. Because if it was before that, and maybe it was possibly before Yoda and Sidious faced off, maybe the Emperor Sidious saved him.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's going to be some major twist here. Obi-Wan and Anakin are less likely. Yoda's probably less likely. Mace Windu, if he's still alive, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, it's going to be a bigger twist. They're not going to leave it die out that scene like that without having a major character save him.
So if it was, I mean,
And one other one I thought of
who?
was, is it maybe possibly Darth Maul?
Darth Maul.
There's going to be some sort of twist here, because we were thinking with the Pike Syndicate still that what's the name? They're the other faction, the big faction out of Kira.
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn still could be involved.
Yeah.
Which there could be flashbacks, and it still ties in Darth Maul back in the past.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, I think most likely I would think maybe it is Mace. Mace flies out of the window, lands on his feet.
Does he land on his feet? I don't know. He's messed up. But...
Got his arm cut off. You know, he rolls. He knows he's got to try and go do something. He knows he can't battle against Anakin and Sidious, so he rolls back to the Jedi Temple, saves Grogu.
I don't know who it's going to be, but
because he knew where Yoda was from.
Yeah.
He would know where the home planet is.
I would assume so, but
you know?
There's going to be some big twist here. I think it's bigger than the Librarian. You don't leave it off with that, and you're like, it's kind of a letdown. It's going to be some character that we're like, oh, I never thought of that, or
possible.
You know, so Mace and Darth Maul are kind of my two most likely.
Okay. Well, let's we'll have to see where that one goes. I guess if
they ever do let us know,
could just be like
they might leave us just guessing for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we have that, and at the very end of the episode, we got the choice, and that's where we leave it. And where does it go from there? I don't know. I think he's gonna take the armor. I think that's gonna be it. But maybe Luke. I don't know. Maybe Luke says, "Yeah, okay, well, I'm taking you back to Mando." I don't know. That seems weird. I mean, or maybe he chooses the lightsaber, and then he's like, "Well, you can wear the armor anyways." I don't know, but maybe that I have no idea. But you're really picking, it's either Foundling or Padawan, and that's really what you're choosing there.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, we'll see. Like, and there could be some more twists yet. Who knows what's going to happen here?
So forecasting for the last episode of the season, Book of Boba Fett, we get into the war. We go on. Luke and Ahsoka, Grogu, not in this next episode coming up. You think, or is that?
Ahsoka's definitely not. Luke maybe. And if Luke is in it and he takes Grogu back,
does he help out?
Does he help out? Does he have help coming?
Help out
do we get the much rumored cameo of Han Solo?
Wouldn't that be something? Hey?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I can only imagine having Harrison Ford roll back.
How do we make this even bigger than this episode? Like, really,
we're gonna roll in Harrison Ford now.
Yeah,
like good.
So who knows what we're gonna get?
Yeah, I'm excited for it though.
I'm pumped now.
Yeah,
I'm finally pumped for this series.
You know, last point I'll kind of touch on. You brought up a lot of they kind of have they done too much fan service, and my feeling is I don't feel so much as it's fan service if you're forwarding the story.
That's what I said earlier.
You're opening the world up.
They're telling the story properly. They're not just forcing things down your throat to say, "Oh, here's Luke Skywalker. Who's this?" They're doing it right.
Yeah, to me, having Luke in it added value to the story. Having Ahsoka bit there, it added value to the story. and you know, it gets you pumped for the Ahsoka series, and I think these little bits and pieces have added an element that to me is like, okay, now we're in Star Wars. Now I see how
we're
Boba
we're
Fett
getting
fits in.
we're getting like prequel, sequel, Clone War. Like we're getting all these.
It's all
Cad Bane being in
it's
it.
all
Like
tied
like
together, right?
it's they're throwing a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, but I mean, think about that. Go all the way back to you're right, to the prequels, to the Order 66, and then you're rolling into the original trilogy, and then you're rolling into kind of future stuff. I mean, it's really
We just need the World Between Worlds to change the sequel trilogy.
yes,
Yeah. So with that,
yeah,
yeah, let's. Hopefully we get some comments on this. But
yeah,
I'd love to see what everybody thinks. Maybe somebody else has some ideas as to where they're going, or like we were saying, like who rescued Grogu. What are your thoughts?
yeah. Put it down in the comments section. Tell us what you think. Tell us we're full of it. We have no idea what we're talking about, but yeah, give us something, and we'll definitely reply back to you. But otherwise, thanks for joining us here at the Blazing Overture. Great to be back in the studio, and we'll see you on the next video.